Okay. Audit. We went back to.
Do you want me to give some good news before you get into 700?
What's that?
Do you want me to give some good news?
Well,
Or am
we're not to 7. No, we're to.
You bypassed me. I was gonna just I was gonna show you. I was gonna show you
Okay.
what I saw, so you all have something to cheer about.
Okay,
Just
but I
saying.
think. Yes. Hey, let's.
Right now, it's up to you.
No, let's dive into the Finance Committee report of actions from
See, this
last.
is why I thought you needed a good break of some.
Well, this is a good report, Vice Chair.
This is a simple one.
Yeah, this is very good. Board Member Wright, you were chairing last night. Are you prepared to do your report?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
We only had 3 agenda items, so this will be fast. And the first one was a non-voting item. It was only information-only item. The Utah Division of Risk Management, which ensures all of our school districts, a lot of state agencies, our universities, and about half of Utah's charter schools came and gave an update on how things are going for them. You wouldn't think it could be interesting, but it actually really was. They have had substantial premium increases, and this is, affecting the cost for our schools. I think the cost per student's gone from $8 to $12 the last little while. Substantial reasons for the increases are there's a lot more school bus accidents, and the cost of those accidents has been going up. There were discussion on why that was, and also just employment litigation is getting more complicated and costly. And so we're aware of that, and so what's good to know is that our individual school districts do pay more insurance if they have a worse track record. So the school districts do face the consequences if they're having more bus accidents and thus have an incentive to get better. Moving on to item 2. This is really a formality, but it is necessary for accounting purposes. So we reimburse. We get a lot of grant money from multiple sources, and then we reimburse entities after they submit their reports to us. So some of our community-based organizations and higher education organizations on federal programs, they incurred the expense in the previous fiscal year, meaning before June 30th, but didn't send the reimbursement to us until after. So, put your seatbelts on, this is a little bit complicated, but we have to approve the accrual on last year's books so it's more accurate statement, and if we don't, then the auditors will ding us. So, but to do that, they still need our approval to do that. So it's basically just formally moving it so that it shows on the last books that those expenses were accrued in the previous fiscal year. Mark Huntsman paid attention and agrees with me. Does anyone else really want to talk about this anymore? Good.
That was great, because I have to do that.
You are generous. There is a motion. Committee, I'll make the motion. The motion is the board approves booking the $8,116,709 accrual and the submission to state finance.
Okay. Because I don't have the script here. The motion to the board is that we approve the $8,116,709 accrual and booking and accrual, and also the submission to the state finance. So I don't.
So we need a second.
Don't need a second. Came out of committee. Any discussion on that? Not seeing any. Let's vote. All in favor say aye. Aye. Those opposed? Voting is unanimous. Thank you. Good job.
This is a bit more exciting and interesting. So our many sections, some of them are good stewards of taxpayer funds and did not spend their entire budget. And so what should happen, with that money? There is substantial risk if we don't use it prudently. The legislature just sweeps up everything and uses it. So basically, if you had less than 50,000, you just kind of kept it in your budget. But if you had over 50,000, then you needed to make a specific plan on how to use it so that it's used prudently. Also, we had a number of state funds that were not restricted and that we could use for some other things. So we had 4 initial requests and identified to spend $600,000 for capital improvement projects around this building, $100,000 to pay for UTA eco passes for our employees, $110,000 for board contingency purposes, just as things come up, and $150,000 for the superintendent's discretionary fund. Also, we are building up, some surplus and stuff that we could use in the future. We will be discussing the Finance Committee and come back. Some of those things that we discussed were potentially a technology budget for state school board members, meaning all of you. Potentially pay for cell phones, internet connections, cell phone bills, better IT infrastructure potentially throughout here, additional funds from teaching and learning for Star Talk, that's right, and the State Charter School Board is going to come to us with changes to their spending plan. So the section spending plans is really they brought to us, and so basically what our motion is here is to approve the use of the carryover balances in accordance with the section spend plans, meaning everyone section that had more than 50,000 had to create a section spend plan on how to use that. And I guess we'll still see if the legislature still sweeps it up.
So the motion is that we approve the carry forward and their spend plans. Is that correct? Yes. Any discussion? Board Member Belknap.
Joel, when you were reading that, you said the superintendent had $150,000 discretionary money. What was right before that? There was another amount right before that.
$110,000 for board contingency purposes.
What might that be? Give me a
I'm going to
Deputy
defer
Superintendent
to leadership.
Jones, will you?
what might
I can
that
speak to it, but I might miss something.
One category that might fall
A new
into,
skirt?
No, for me or
Yeah,
no?
for you.
Okay, it might fall into a category of if a lawsuit isn't covered by risk management or something, and then we, settle or something. You could use it for that.
That's
it
enough.
might
That's
be-
okay.
Yeah, maybe there's
Good enough.
something that occurs or.
Okay. Not seeing any other discussion on the motion. Let's vote. All in favor say aye. Those opposed? Voting was unanimous.
That is everything. Thank you, Chair Huntsman.
Okay. Thank you. We're going to take, I know we're running out of time, but some people are kind of giving me the look that they need like a 5-minute break. So we're going to take please, a 5-minute break, and let's come right back in. We still have quite a bit of work to do.